Welcome back to the Britannia Coin Company. We're a coin dealer based in Royal Wootton Bassett in the UK. A year ago today, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II sadly passed away, our longest reigning monarch, the longest reigning queen, and the second longest reigning monarch of all history the whole world over. Today we're going to be looking at how our coins have changed since she passed away. We had grown so accustomed to the Queen being on our coins, having had 5 official portraits of her on our coins throughout her 70-year reign, plus a handful of one-off portraits as well. Many people assumed that the death of the Queen would result in a recall of all of our coins, to be replaced with new coins minted with our new king on the obverse or head side of the coin. This would not be the case though. The reason why the Queen was for many of us the only monarch we've known on our coins was because of decimalisation. For centuries up to 1971, the UK used a system of pounds, shillings and pence. In 1971, the UK officially became a decimal system using new pence and pounds. This required the total recall of all old coins to be replaced with new decimal coins. And because the Queen had been our only monarch since decimalisation, that's why we'd only see the Queen on our coin. Before decimalisation had happened and there was a death of a monarch, the coins for the next king or queen would simply be minted and added to the coinage already being used. This meant that even in the 60s there could still have been Victorian coins in use, albeit rather worn through their prolonged use. That is exactly what has happened following the passing of the crown from Queen Elizabeth II to her son, the now King Charles III. All the coins that have been minted for our change will remain in circulation for now, and there is no plan to actively remove coins just because the Queen features on them. Over time though, as coins get worn away with use, damaged or lost, these will need to be replaced with new coins. But the lifespan of a coin can be over 30 years, so coins that were only minted in 2022 with the Queen's portrait still have a while to go before they reach their use-by date. If you were to say get a handful of pennies and check the dates on them, I'm fairly confident you'll still find a number of them from 1971, the first year that they were minted as our new decimal currency. Of course, if a coin gets completely reworked, just like what happened to the old round pound coins, then yes, these previous coins would all be recalled and replaced, removing all the ones that had the portrait of our Queen on them. But since decimalisation, we've only ever had 3 coins resized and replaced. The 50p, 5p and 10p were shrunk down to the size of coin we use in our change today. And of course the old round pound coin was replaced with the new pound coins we use today. Some coins have been changed as well, such as the penny and 2p coin, which are now made of copper-plated steel rather than bronze. But the old bronze coins weren't recalled, they were just left as they were. So then, we haven't seen a recall, and the coins that we used before the death of the Queen are still the coins we use now. So what has changed on them? The biggest and most noticeable change is that now the portrait of King Charles III is minted onto the obverse or head side of our coins. His new portrait was created by Martin Jennings and is an image that we're going to become very accustomed to seeing over time as more coins are produced and circulated. You will also note that the King faces to the left on the design, the opposite way that the Queen faced on our coins previously. This is a long-standing tradition that each time that there is a new monarch on our coins, they flip the way in which the King or Queen faces. Of course, King Edward VIII almost broke this tradition, choosing to show off his side parting in what he deemed to be a more flattering angle and wanted to face the same way as his father, the previous king, did. But he did abdicate before the coins were mass produced, so he is technically classed as a right-facing king on coins, even if that wasn't his intention to do so. But by a technicality, this tradition was preserved. Throughout the Queen's 70-year reign, we saw a number of different portraits used. So over time, we might see some one-off portraits of King Charles III used on unique coins, and depending on the length of his reign, possibly a change in the official portrait in years to come. The first coin which was minted with the King's new portrait was the memorial coin range, struck to mark the death of the Queen, and this did break an historic precedent with our coin. In the past, when there was a change in our monarch, the portrait of the new King or Queen wouldn't be used until the following year. So to have 2022 dated coins with our new king was something new. Of course, the precedents were 70 years old, and what did assist in the quick delivery of the new portrait on our coins is the advancement in technologies used in the production of our coins. In 2022, it was much easier to complete this task compared to when this last happened back in 1952. There are also some coins dated 2023 which still have the Queen on the obverse of them. This is down to some of the last coins to be released in the year being dated for the following year, but still minted before we replace our calendars. The Lunar series and Tudor Beast collection are current series and tend to be among some of the last coins produced by the Royal Mint in a year, but will still be dated for the start of the next year. Sometimes the mint needs to get a bit ahead of themselves, like with the annual coin sets. Collectors want them straight away, and it would be no good for them to turn up on New Year's Day to begin striking them when previously you've been able to purchase them from the first day of the new year. Something else which broke centuries of tradition is on the coins released for the coronation of King Charles III. There was a huge range of coins released for collectors to purchase, with a number of different denominations. Now, it's not unusual for coins to be released for the coronation of a new monarch. There is a long history of this happening, but the portrait used for King Charles III is rather unique on these coins. The Martin Jennings portrait is still used, but the king is pictured wearing a crown. Now, kings and queens wearing crowns is not an unusual thought, but no king has been pictured on UK coins wearing a crown since the reign of King Charles II hundreds of years ago. There have been some crowned queens on UK coins, and some of our kings have been pictured wearing crowns on coins minted for the wider British Empire, but for UK coins, this is a first in a very long time. Now, it's worth pointing out that the only coronation coins which have been put into circulation are the 50p's, and these have been altered for the ones that you'll find in your change. Those for use in circulation have been minted with the uncrowned Martin Jennings portrait, so as and when you do find a coronation 50p, it shouldn't be one with a crown on the king's head. One thing we have yet to see is if there'll be any change with the definitive coins. These are the standard non-commemorative designs which get used for a number of years. From 2008 we'll be familiar with the Shield of the Royal Arms, which has been the definitive design on our coins for some time, with the exception of the £2 coin, which features Britannia, and the £1 coins, which is the Nations of the Crown design. There is some precedent with a change in monarch that then results to changes in the definitive coins, but it's not always the case. One thing that has set expectations for a potential change though, is that at the start of 2023, the time when annual coin sets normally come out from the Royal Mint, they only release the commemorative coins for the year. Usually the commemoratives and definitives are released in separate and combined collections for collectors to purchase the same day. This then begs the question as to why the delay if nothing is set to change on them. It could be linked to the new £1 coin design, which was announced back in 2022, which was to celebrate 40 years of the £1 coin as we know it today. It would see the first change in the design on this coin since it was redesigned back in 2016. Although the design was set to celebrate 4 decades of the pound coin, it was described as being a new definitive design. If you think back to the old round pound coins, the designs did change frequently, but they weren't classed as commemorative coins, just ever-changing definitives, so to speak. It is another release which we're still waiting on, and perhaps is the reason for the delay in the rest of the definitive coin sets being released, if the £1 coin is not ready yet, so that delay may not guarantee a change in the rest of our definitive coins. And it could be for an entirely different reason that we can only speculate about at the moment. A smaller change to our coins is the wording on them. Rex has been added, which is the Latin for king, and replaced the Latin for queen, given that we now have a king rather than a queen. The king also opted to follow his mother's choice in having his name as we recognise it on coins, rather than a Latin version of his name. And yes, there is a different Latin version of Elizabeth before you start writing angry comments. So, although not a change in recent coinage, this is a change from previous precedents, as our late Queen's father and new King's grandfather, King George VI's coins, featured his name in Latin. So, other than replacing Queen Elizabeth II's portrait on our coins with a new portrait of King Charles III, not an awful lot has changed with our coins since her death. There are still some unknowns and we're waiting to find out if they change our coins any further, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free to do and it means you'll keep updated when we release videos about any further changes to our coins. We'd love to know in the comments how many King Charles III coins you've actually found out in your change or what you've bought for your own collection. Be sure to check out the links in the description over to our website if you'd like to browse any of the coins we featured in today's video. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram where we post lots of pictures of our coins. We're also on Twitter and TikTok. We have our shop and online store, and I'll see you next time for more amazing coins from the Britannia Coin Company.